Smoking Sports Top Shelf, Sports with a Twist. I'm DJ, artist formerly known as DJ. Now I'm going to go on as Mr. T. I'm here with Adam, Mr. Joey Mack, and the Adam Master Wu over there.
What?
Adam Master Wu? Who's Adam Master Wu?
I didn't sound like some kung fu guy or something.
I love it.
But he used my name, so does that mean he's the master?
Well, you're not supposed to tell me your name. Just kidding.
You just gave him my name.
Anyway, we got a really big show. We got a really big show for you.
We do. It's going to be a fun night. We got our cigars.
Yes, we do.
Sitting here at Old Grapevine Cigar, Grapevine, Texas, like we have been doing for, well, we didn't do it for the past year, but we did it for a year before that.
Oh,
Back on the air now with video. All four of us guys ready to talk sports, cigars, any other BS that might come up throughout the night.
I'm farther on furlough, so we're back on the air. So
That's good.
I'm having a hard time not flexing right now.
Not flexing. Please don't. I hope you like it.
But yeah, for everyone else, I am flexing. So stop with the comments. I already see it coming.
I would flex, but I like this shirt too much.
Him and Terry Crews over there.
All right, so as we lead into the video podcast stuff, I think we got segments now. So the first one, we're going to talk about cigars.
Yes.
Kind of want to do it a little bit differently this time.
Okay.
So what are you guys smoking? What's new?
I've got this left-handed green cigar from Napa Valley. Actually, I've got an MG12, one of my favorites, just a go-to every day. Very medium body, nice smoke. I mean, from when you light it to the end, it's very consistent. Burns very well constructed. Something I traditionally like to smoke daily.
I'm finishing up an old one, but I'm going to be lighting up this Tatuaje Havana 6.
Nice.
Tatuaje is one of my absolute favorite cigar brands.
How much is that stuff?
$6-8.
If you have to,
Could be wrong,
if
but
you have to ask, you can't afford.
Joe?
unless you're Daddy Mac.
I'm smoking my Oliva V. I have been trying.
I noticed that the other
I've
night.
been trying different cigars, and
Any particular reason? Just branching out.
I'm branching out.
All right.
I'm branching out. You know, I'm looking after the wallet. You know what I mean? And but I did find one that I like, which they promptly ran out of. Is this Gilberto
Oh
Oliva?
yeah, that's a good one.
It's
Such a good one.
yeah, it's still Nicaraguan, but it's a little bit milder, and it's a nice way to finish up the night.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop.
So I'm going to do a quick little spin now. So like I've been doing, I am on a wallet conscious cigar hunt.
Wow.
So I'm going to say like no reason other than I'm a little cheap. Everyone knows me, knows that. So
He's gonna get some cash. Only got $1
yeah,
in his pocket.
I got to pad my dollar bills. But actually, there's a lot of good finds out there, and I think a lot of you can agree with that. So I've been a big fan of another Tatuaje smoke called the Tattoo. I don't know if you can see that.
The blame.
This cost me $5.40 at the Old Grapevine Cigar.
And
Nice.
that's Nicaraguan.
Oh, no. How much was it?
Dominican?
$5.90 retail.
$5.90s. What? I paid too much.
That's Dominican or Nicaraguan?
Nicaraguan.
This is a Nicaraguan.
That's the
I
Nicaraguan.
gotta
first.
try that.
It's really good. It's a
Yeah.
very good
Anything
cigar.
Tatuaje makes is full of flavor.
Yeah.
Good
Peppery?
medium body.
Some good pepper.
Some's gonna have a little bit of pepper
This
to
one
it.
isn't as peppery as your Olivas,
No,
but
no.
it's
This
definitely.
may be too much pepper. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a good blend. It's difficult because I just smoked a Sans Perrier,
Sanpere.
Sans-Pareil.
Sans Pareil, which is French for without equal or something like that.
Correct.
Didn't we just meet was it the owner?
Yeah, so they were just through this weekend. We did a cigar and wine event with Sanpere and Aaron and Johnny.
Johnny.
There's Johnny.
Where did you do that event?
We did
Right
the event
here.
at the Old Grapevine Cigar here on
Right here.
Friday
You're
or
working
On
Saturday.
that. I was a little busy.
It was nice. It was nice. We paired their cigars with some very nice wines from Wimpy Vineyards. We had a Charles Whitmore Cabernet, a Riva Ranch Pinot Noir. We had their recently awarded 94-point rated Myriad as well Red Blend. And kudos to Robbie Meyer, their winemaker.
I still think the best thing you guys make is that the Petit Syrah, man. That's one of my
Yeah, the
favorites.
Tea Syrahs available out at
Had that?
Winery.
I have.
Oh.
I love all the Winters.
Yeah, they,
And on the whites, the Viognier is crazy good, crazy reasonably priced. their champagnes are great. It's tough to get here. I think you have to order them from the winery.
Yeah, from the tasting room.
But I mean, I love the Charles Wentmore Cab is out of this world.
Yeah, if you go, if there's a wine club there, you can go up to winkyvineyards.com and you can click on wine club, and it's free to join. There's different levels of participation depending on what you're looking to get. There's a lot of small lot wines that are available that aren't sent out, much like Joe was talking about the Viognier and so many other things from the area as well that aren't readily available at retail or in restaurants, which is kind of a nice find. And the good thing about their wine club is that you know you're getting true value. Their wines over deliver with the price point. So a lot of times you get in a wine club and they just send you stuff, and sometimes the stuff is really not up to par. And it's kind of disappointing when you're in a club like that and you don't get the quality they're expecting. You want to exceed the expectations of what you perceive. So winkyvineyards.com, click on wine club, pretty sweet.
Yeah,
These cigars paired very well with the Winky wines. They've got some really nice, San Parai had some really nice cigars, and they were very complimentary this weekend and very generous in giving out some samples to some folks.
Yeah.
And,
Speaking of wine, so like, what's up with the fire and stuff like that? I'm a little ignorant when it comes to the vineyards out there. And
yeah, so there's if you all know, very tragic things going on out in Napa and Sonoma Valley. They've been devastated by fires throughout the valley. It really didn't hit in Napa in town. It did hit Sonoma. It decimated Santa Rosa per se. But it really, for the most part, it looks like to this point that it stayed up on the hills. And the interesting thing about vineyards, buildings were destroyed and things like that, but the vines itself are very vigorous. They almost work like a fire break out in those situations where they would come across the vines, and because they got individual irrigation drip, those vines are very vigorous. They're green, they're hardy, so they almost fight off those types of situations.
so will our wines be smoky?
Well, I think if you get somebody who's telling you that in a 2017 or 18 vintage, watch out.
Okay.
But I think that the good thing was about 90%, from what I understand, of the grapes were already pulled for crush, so you shouldn't have too many devastated wines out there. There's a lot of great winemakers in the valley there, and it's a very small business. I mean, everybody works together and try to help each other out. So I know that they will fight back and rebound real well. And arguably, I think that those wines are world class to anything else that's out there across the world. And I think that they probably are some of the finest winemakers that are out there. So if anybody can take this devastation and make positive out of it, so the Napa Sonoma Valley will do a great job in rebounding.
Cool.
Going to other spirits real quick. Let's talk other spirits a little bit. Anybody drinking anything that's just been like, man?
Yeah, so I went to the Texas State Fair.
Yeah.
So this is probably not where
fair.
this is not where you guys are going with this, right? You guys are all fine wine and yep, I love that stuff. So I ran into a vendor that was selling waffle cone beer.
Wow.
And it tasted like freaking waffle cone, dude. Like, I didn't think it would. And the lady even asked me if I wanted a little powdered sugar on the side of it. And I was like, no, I'm trying to watch my weight.
That's great for alcoholics. Now you got something that is swallowed in.
Oh, it was awesome. It was so good.
I will take a waffle and your waffle cone beer.
Yes,
please, for breakfast.
waffle cone. I wonder
Brush
if they
my
even put it.
teeth with it.
But it's a local beer company that makes it. And I'm actually on the lookout. So if anybody watching this wants to go ahead and donate, it's called Funnel Cake Ale by Community Beer.
Wow.
Local beer.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not a fine spirit or anything, but
Community.
yeah.
So talking about a crossover between cigars and spirits, there's a gentleman that started with Acid Cigars that has founded Acid Cigars and has gone into the spirits world. He's teamed up, from what I've been told, with Heaven Hill, and is having them produce a rye whiskey for him, as well as something very interesting that I have not seen yet in all my years in the industry, is a blend of whiskey and rum.
Whiskey and rum?
Is it whiskey or is it bourbon and rum?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, it may be bourbon and rum, but it's a combination that you wouldn't really know too much about somebody blending.
But
so,
if anybody can pull that off,
Unless I was already drunk.
It's him.
Just
Right,
start
it's
mixing the
Jonathan
two
Drew.
together.
Yeah, Jonathan Drew's.
He could pull that
Yeah,
off.
I mean, when he came out with some of his cigars, acid and everything else, he's got arguably some of the finest cigars out there today. I'm a big fan of the T52, and yeah, he's done some really cool things in that industry. So we're hoping he can resonate and move that over to the other side. I'm really excited to wait till when these get released. I hope that we get the opportunity to taste and review them on air. That'll be really cool. So Jonathan, you're out there. We're in Grapevine Cigar.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smoking
Stop by,
Sports.
drop in, send us some whiskey. We'd love to give you our opinion on it because we are some aficionados on rye and some of the other whiskeys. So we'd love to take some of my years working in the bourbon and whiskey business and give you an opinion on it.
Very cool.
Good to me. Joey, drink anything good lately?
No.
No?
That's a Joey note.
Thanks for the insight.
He's
Pal.
He's got a vintage Diet Coke.
Yes.
Yeah?
That's
Okay.
actually still on the table in
Yeah,
case.
that's exactly
we
what
can't
it
have labels out right
big
now.
drinker.
We can't have labels out.
Not a big
Yeah.
drinker.
Yeah.
Other than Michigan, I noticed that. I think we all noticed it, Adam.
Of course.
That's
That's
it.
why, even if I wasn't drinking coffee, it
Boo.
would still be in this cup.
You know what will also still be in the cup? A championship that isn't going to happen this
Oh.
year.
How's
Your defense is
Arizona's
terrible.
football team?
Hey,
What?
we're
Wait. Okay, I don't care what's next. What crap are you talking right now?
hold on, Dude Ranch.
Okay, let's talk.
We can talk Dude Ranch. Yeah, so you guys barely escaped the last game,
Okay, I agree.
right?
Oh.
And you guys have arguably
The
One
worst
of the-
quarterback in America.
yes.
Okay.
Well, he's young.
No, he's not. He's a fifth-year senior.
Okay, well, this is his first time on TV. How about that?
Okay.
he's a terrible first timer. It's like he was a virgin in football and decided. Okay, anyways.
Let's-
So
come on.
Let's
yeah.
lay it out this way.
But
Is he going to be better than Chris Winkie?
no,
No,
not at all.
no, no,
Or Henny or Brady.
no. Okay.
Regardless,
Hold on. So-
regardless, you have
so keep
a
talking
huge
shit for a
game.
second.
You have a huge game coming up this weekend, right? You
We
guys
do.
play
It's a
Penn.
huge game.
Penn State.
number 2 in the nation.
I think. What's the spread? Does anybody know?
10.5. It
10?
was 10.
10.
10.5.
And
It's
it's
hovering around there.
wow. All right. You got a hard schedule. I'm just saying, championship is out of question.
I think Barkley's going to run for 300 yards when he runs.
I don't even
Howard
think
County
you're
Okay,
going to win your
hold on.
touch. I don't even think the big
Hold
two.
on a second. Stop. First of all, number 1, this year never planned on having a championship because we're one of the youngest teams in the nation.
You have the highest paid coach. I think the expectation every year is to win a
Okay,
championship.
Am
I wrong, Joe?
Okay, but what I'm telling you is I'm not disagreeing with you that we won't win the championship this year. For a lot of Michigan fans, once we lost to Michigan State, they kind of started looking towards next year
Of course they
because
do.
we
It's
knew
Michigan
that Penn
fans.
State was going to be a very tough game.
Loyalty is really slim over there.
No, they're some of the most loyal people that you ever meet.
Yes.
But
They are.
coming
They
up against Penn State, everyone's saying, "Oh, Saquon Barkley, he's the greatest in the nation," and I'm not saying he's not. He is the greatest in the
he
nation.
is the greatest.
The best offensive player in the
Mhm.
nation. There's no doubt about that. Will most likely and should most
the
likely win the Heisman.
Absolutely.
But here's what I'm going to
And
say.
they got a great defense.
He's also
I
playing.
think, speaking of that, I think my boy Chubb from last year went a little soft.
Okay.
Hold on, I got
No.
something for that.
So listen. So
Uh.
before we get too far into this, okay? Saquon Barkley, best offensive player in the nation. There's no doubt about that. But he's also going to be playing one of the top 3, if not the best defense in the nation. So
Okay.
yeah, that 10.5-point spread seems large, but I think Michigan covers. I don't think it's going to be a
So
blowout
you're
game.
thinking they're going to
And I think that Barkley will probably have 100 yards.
That's it?
I'm just saying it could be 100 yards rushing
All
and then
purpose?
some receiving yards thrown in.
All
I'm
purpose,
telling-
only 100 yards?
I don't think he goes off.
What?
I don't think he goes off.
Against your defense?
Yes.
You're
Wow.
gonna
Dude,
probably go 10 in
I'm
the box
telling
against
you,
them.
It's the cut.
going into last week, we were the number 1 defense in the nation. Total defense,
How many
according to
defense
NCAA.com.
According to NCAA.com, who is number 2?
I didn't
It doesn't
know that
matter
part.
because we're Michigan.
I know, exactly.
How are you-
I didn't look that part up because I didn't need to.
Hey, how are
We
you-
were number 1.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. And
Michigan's
what's
got a
the
good
old
defense.
adage?
Hey, boy, blue.
Defense wins championships,
Defense
right?
does
Hey,
win,
boy,
but
boy.
not
Not
this
saying
year.
that they won't win. We will not win the championship this year because our offense cannot put points on the board.
Yeah.
But our defense will keep us in more games.
Little boy,
than we probably should be in.
Hey, little boy.
What?
How were they against the run, though? I'm just curious.
Good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we in the now you're gonna make me look this up.
I'll look it up. Now,
Keep talking.
Deej is a big USC fan, right?
I am.
Number
Right on,
one
baby.
in the Pac-12 South or South
South.
right now. So you guys had a huge win last week.
Yeah, against Utah. That was really a nail biter right
That was
now.
a close,
Quarter,
close
Drake
game,
down
man.
to the 2-yard line.
I thought Utah won that.
Oh no, they almost did.
They
Though?
went for two and missed it.
They missed their
Really?
2-pointer.
Okay, so Michigan's defense, according to SportsReference.com, is allowing 138 yards passing a game. Okay, and they're allowing 85.8 rush yards a game.
That's pretty good.
Okay, I'm telling you, they're a good defense. Now,
Should be a good matchup.
it will be a good matchup, and I'm not saying that we're going to win this game, but
Mhm.
our defense will give us the opportunity to upset. They'll give us the opportunity.
Keep
Whether or not our offense cashes in on that opportunity is a completely different thing altogether. Now, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, and I've had this discussion with many people, I'm starting Karan Higdon. He's been one of our best running backs,
Okay,
and I'm
agree.
giving him 60 to 70% of the touches on offense.
I agree.
Well, in the running game.
Yeah.
And then I'm building my play action for O'Korn off of that, and just hoping that he doesn't piss the game away like he did against Michigan State.
So you're saying 5-1, you guys are going to win out and win the Big Ten East?
I'm not making that bold ass prediction.
No.
Ah.
All right.
Because we play Penn State. That's going to be a
And-
very tough game.
and you
then after Thanksgiving, we have Ohio State, which is a very tough game. So I think we're more likely to win the Ohio State game this year, though, than we are the Penn State game.
But didn't you guys lose to Indiana?
No, we beat Indiana
Who'd you guys
in
just lose to?
overtime. Michigan State.
that's
A
close.
rivalry
that
game
was a
in a
close one.
monsoon.
Who's now ranked?
Well, it rained for them
It
too.
rained for them.
Yeah,
So-
they gained one first down in the second half.
Yeah.
Michigan State did. They scored their points before, and I'm not taking anything away from them. They beat our ass that day, like a redheaded stepchild.
You guys
They
were holding
went-
back for the second half?
No, we are an adjustment
We were
second
waiting.
half kind of team. But
We are who we think we are.
they kicked us up and down the field. I mean, they beat us.
It was tough conditions. It was.
Yeah.
It was tough conditions, but you can't use that as an excuse.
No.
Because like you
Because
said,
it rained on both sides.
both teams had to play in that rain.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we tried to continue to throw the ball in the second half during the rain is a little questionable, but whatever. I'm over it.
Let's move on. That's
Yeah.
enough love for Michigan.
Yeah, that's enough love for college football, I
Blue.
guess. So DJ
You
wanted.
got him wild up there. He was
I
working
know.
blue a little bit.
I loved it.
He went blue on us.
And then we were talking.
Spicy
You know what
language
started? We got
Talking crap,
NBA started.
Yeah.
So NBA season started. Man, what
man.
a
The worst sport on the planet.
I don't know if it's the worst sport because we're watching the NLCS here. All my baseball fans out
Which is
there.
the best sport on the
Well,
planet.
if you watch Tuesday ratings of the opening night of NBA, you had Houston against the Warriors.
Oh, it's huge.
Okay, and you had Cleveland against Boston.
Yep.
And they pulled over a 3.5, I think, rating. Both baseball games were like a 2.6, 2.7.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about basketball versus baseball? We're talking about championship games right
It says
And the
that
opening day
basketball
of
market's
season.
better.
now. Yeah, the marketing, they definitely market themselves very well.
They will overtake the NFL at some point as the most popular game in
And we'll
America.
segue into that in a little bit, but right now let's talk a little basketball. Last night was it was tough. It was a tough night for the NBA opening up games that were lined up. LeBron, Kyrie coming home, and all the celebration behind that, and they get within 5 minutes of the game. And Gordon Hayward goes down with just one of the most god-awful, crucial injuries that I've ever seen in sport. In fact, I believe that I heard it on TNT that they have not had, they've not seen an injury like that on the basketball court. It just took the life right out of the game.
It was
They-
so bad
they were-
that on Twitter there were parody accounts saying, out of respect for him, we will not retweet anything about the injury.
Yeah, the sad thing for me about that thing is the guy just signed his great contract. He's going there with Kyrie. They're building chemistry. They're going to try to go and take over the East. The guy ends up in the locker room in Cleveland, in Cleveland's locker room. All right, at halftime, LeBron guys are coming in and checking on him. Other guys come from across the other hall and checking on him as well. He had to stay in their locker room the entire game, wait until the guys were all showered and whatnot, load the plane, fly back to Boston, and then go directly to the hospital. I don't understand why one of these two owners didn't pull out their private jet and get him on back quick.
Yeah.
It's beyond me. You know?
Or why did he just not go to a Cleveland area hospital?
Yeah, it's really,
I mean, all of these could have been his preference. So, I mean,
I don't know how that's either shock or
When I first saw the picture of that injury,
What better way with this young team? This is the guy that's probably hit the biggest shot in Cavs history. Oh my goodness! Hayward came down so hard. Okay, Hayward broke his leg. Hayward has broken his leg. Hayward has broken his leg.
Well, then you see the entire bench just turn around.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And that is how quickly a season can change.
Look at his face. Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
I don't think it would have been well received by the fans that were there in the crowd that night. But so that was a tough game. Then you go over to the other side. You've got a newly tuned team. They got
The Rockets.
Better Call Paul.
Better
Comes
call
over
Paul.
CP3.
Did you see how excited he was when he actually beat Golden State?
Yeah.
He said Chris Paul has never beaten Golden State in his career.
wait,
Yes.
I thought somebody said on Twitter last night that Golden State was in mid-season form. Did they blow a lead?
So here's what happened.
Because obviously, I'm not a basketball fan, so like I don't watch basketball. I'm like you with baseball. I don't watch
like
it until like the championship.
They were up.
because I just can't. It's just not entertaining.
They were up 17, and then some. Obviously, Houston had some good shots, played some good defense, got some steals. But what's really interesting, I mean, Kevin Durant had 9 steals against him, or not. Giving the ball 9 different times during the night. But
9 turnovers
9 turnovers
from
They
one
got-
guy.
Yeah, Durant. But the thing that really was amazing was that.
Just leave it on that side.
They were up 17 until, a lot of it. Draymond Green came down, landed funny on his knee, got a sprained knee, went out of the game. They were using him a lot like a point guard at the beginning of the game, which is very interesting because he was doing a hell of a job on it. So Houston closed the gap, came down to the last shot of the game. They were up by a point. The ball gets kicked out to Curry on the left side in the 3. He hits the rim, it bounces out. It gets tipped out to the outside again, and they shoot the ball into the far left corner to Kevin Durant, wide open. Lets a shot go and rips it through the hoop for the game-winning shot. Go back to check it. His fingertips were still on the ball when time went out of the clock, so they ended up losing the game by a point. But it was a good game. I mean, a good conference for Houston. But I got to tell you, they didn't play Jamel McGee, who's going to be a great player for the Warriors. Last year he played. He didn't play a minute last night. They also brought in Swaggy P off the bench, and they said that he is going to really. Even Stephen A. Smith said he's really going to light up this year because he's a pure shooter. Think about it when he's not covered, he's wide open, which is going to get a lot of those looks. He's dead. So I'll be really curious to see how he progresses throughout the season. If he's got free open looks like that, how he's going to add to that team. But I think they look well. I mean, I thought they looked really good. They've got this kid from Oregon, this rookie, who jumped out of the gym and really put on a show last night for Warriors.
So let me ask this question: being a non-basketball fan, and part of the reason why I'm not a basketball fan is because there's no parity in the game. Right? We know that essentially at the end of the season, it's going to be Cleveland versus Golden State. How do you build a brand?
Well, I think they were reevaluating the championship too, right? What they're doing rankings, or they're contemplating doing rankings now for the playoff run. So instead of doing East versus West, they're looking to do rankings. So 1 to however many teams they want in the playoffs. So I know they're evaluating that. These super teams obviously change the game, but man, there's more people watching these basketball than in the last 20 years, I think.
Here's going to be the kicker for the NBA this year. It's going to be fun to check it out, see how they put it together. In the NBA All-Star game, They're not going to have East versus West.
Yeah.
They are going to draft teams.
Well,
It's gonna be
yeah,
really
and
cool.
it's a player draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which is going to be really cool. I think it'll be more entertaining this year.
I just want to know who LeBron's going to pick, and I'm sure if they do captains, right?
I
they're gonna
Is he
pick
going
the
to throw
teams.
Kyrie?
I guarantee you
No.
he will not pick a Golden State Warrior.
Oh, I hope he does. I hope he grabs Steph.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
No. There's no way.
It would never happen.
Wasn't there a bunch of drama surrounding them in the finals last year?
Yeah, Steph was looking for LeBron's
If I were
feet
him, I'd
because
draft.
he's got a
If I were
foot
him on this
fetish.
team,
What? Say that? He was looking for what?
A photo of LeBron's feet because Steph's got a foot fetish. You guys see that yet?
Yeah.
Aisha, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Can we not
Yeah.
talk about that?
I think
that's
it's funny
weird.
when your girl puts you on blast on public television and says, "My husband's fetish, his feet.
I don't think she called it a fetish. She says he likes my feet.
These are my nudes." That's what she said. These are my nudes,
Yeah.
and it's a photo of her feet.
yeah.
I think.
likes those Puerto Rican toes.
Hey, whatever.
well,
If it
you
makes
know,
them happy.
If it makes her happy.
Whatever floats the boat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
do we need to tell America that?
Yeah, no,
that's
but-
a good
Hey, if I had a drink right here, you know I'd say, Steph, here's to you.
thing.
Oh.
Ba-dum-bum.
Oh, I missed my cue.
He just pulled
I need
from
those
the night,
buttons. Yeah, I think that's why they don't like each other. LeBron
I
turned
just-
him down.
Hey, he's got a new line coming out called Pretty Toes and Pantyhose.
I just don't know if it's good for the game, like these super teams.
What, the foot fetish?
Not wrong. I don't think that's good for anyone, but obviously
Hey,
it works for him, so
maybe,
whatever.
Hey, maybe
Team
he
Curry.
can call Sexy Rex or XRXRI and get some tips.
But I mean,
Did Marv Albert have a foot fetish too?
Yes!
Yes.
Hey, so I wonder, though, about those guys that shoot with toe fetishes. I mean, you know,
never mind my like
Listen.
actual sports questions. Let's talk about fetishes.
No, so do you
If you have one, comment on Facebook, please.
I mean, do you really?
If you have a fetish, Adam wants to know. Put it on Facebook.
So we can talk about
Those,
it.
yeah, those just let us know. But
He'll bring it up in his church group.
yeah, do you
Pray for you.
do you just like get with it, then get busy with it if they've just got off a run, 10-mile run, or if they've gone out to the gym, or do you make them go in and shower and make it seem like very clean? I don't know.
What is happening right now?
We're talking sports. Steph
Here's the
Curry,
rails, and we're off of that.
NBA champ. He likes to feed.
Okay, we said we were going to keep this to 30 minutes. We're at 27 minutes.
Yeah, we are.
Talk really any
Hey,
sports.
if you get a moment, you can go and put on that new ad for Steph Curry for that new toe jam.
Okay, next segment.
Nah, let's move on.
All right, let's go.
Fast forward.
All right,
Skip.
but really, so I've made a commitment. I've made a commitment to Joe here that I want to learn hockey. So I think I really want to watch the Dallas Stars. Right, we have a team here called the Dallas Stars. They won the
I
championship.
think people know about it.
Oh, they know about it. Okay,
I
don't know.
Introduce them like they're a new team.
I don't know.
So this is
people
my
watch
friend.
hockey.
They're called the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
I
I'd
mean,
like
how
for you
many
to
people
meet
watch
them.
hockey? Listen,
Take care of them.
I just want to learn, okay? So this new segment, I'm going to run it off. This is Joe's segment, and he's going to introduce it.
Okay, so WTP, what's the puck?
What the fuck?
So just two
Which
kind
I
of
love that name, by the way.
Yeah, just two kind of human interest stories tonight. Patrick Marleau, drafted in 1997, played most of his career with the San Jose Sharks. He's now with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tonight was his 1500th NHL game.
They're bringing a guy out in the
Is this Marlowe right here?
That's Patrick Marleau.
Okay.
What a fantastic
1,500 games.
I mean if
Wow.
if he played every game in the season, that would be 28 years and 28 years plus to get to that. So he's in the league. 20, wow. No. Excuse me. 18 or something like that. But anyway, he's.
This is our hockey expert.
He's in the league and 20 years now, and I just think it's a fantastic accomplishment for this guy.
So
Future
28
Future Hall of
years.
Famer.
We have an audience here. Zach, how old are you? 23. So
23.
he's played hockey longer than you've been alive.
No, 97. No. He's 20 years.
That's
he's
our
20 years in the
mathematician
league.
down there.
Yeah,
He's 20 years in the league.
20 years in the league. Well, pretty damn close. So, and it's all been with how many teams?
Two.
Just two. Jesus.
Mostly the Sharks.
Yeah. So the next guy I want to talk about,
It's a cool story.
and this is a fourth line winger that probably nobody's ever heard of, but he is the one, the only, the first, whatever you want to call it, Australian
First mate.
to crack the NHL. And there's in Australia there's only about 5,000 kids that play youth hockey. So I mean there's probably triple that here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Australia only has 20 sheets of ice. Dallas alone has 20 sheets of ice, right? So, and Australia's a big country, right? So when he was 13 years old, his team, his youth team, went to play in a tournament in the Czech Republic. And this kid was just head and shoulders above everybody else. Faster.
This is when he was still living in Australia?
Yeah, he was only 13 years old.
Wow.
Hard hitting. After the game, the two coaches were talking, and the Czech coach, just kind of a throwaway type of line, said, "Man, I'd love to have this kid on my team."
That's what Jerry Sandusky used to tell people.
So that started the conversation. The kid got on the phone to his mom and said, "Mom, can I stay here at 13 years? I'm never going to be able to live my dream playing in Australia. This guy's willing to have me." He was on the Czech team that was sponsored by a steel mill, Vichy, and his mother was very hesitant. She flew out. She stayed with him for 2 weeks to make sure that he was well taken care of and everything. Well, after 2 weeks, she went home. He moved in with the billet family. Didn't speak the language. They didn't speak any English. And he just, literally in Australia, he was practicing twice a week. In the Czech Republic, he was practicing twice a day, regular schedule of games, traveling throughout Europe, right?
And eating a lot of pierogies.
5 years later, he goes to the United
The
States.
kolaches.
Kolache.
He plays in the USHL, which is the same as our Texas Tornado.
Wait, we have two teams in Texas?
This is a junior team.
Oh.
But 2014, he gets drafted in the third round
He's trying to learn.
by the Washington Capitals. He plays 202 games in the AHL. Would have gotten called up last year, but he broke his hand or his wrist trying to block a puck. Gets called up, makes the team this year. They don't play him in the first game. They play him in the first home game against the Canadiens. He scores a goal. It wasn't a pretty goal, but it was.
Hey, they all look the same in the scoreboard.
I mean, it was a ricochet off his shin pad, but
It went in.
It was his goal, right? Had a fight with Andrew Shaw of all the guys. This guy's like, they list him at 5'9", 186 pounds. Yeah. And he goes against Andrew Shaw. Talk about gaining the respect of your teammates like that. He plays in all sorts of situations. They put him on the penalty kill. I think he logged a little shy of 12 minutes in that game. But what a fantastic story and what a crazy route to the NHL.
Okay.
The only player from Australia to play in the NHL. So it was a big week for him. The Prime Minister called him on the phone. They flew his parents in for his game. The ambassador from Australia was there. He's in the locker room, with his puck, with his first goal. So it's just really, really neat story. So number 79, he's a fourth line left winger. Look out for him. Let's see how this kid does. Hopefully he has a long and storied career.
All right, so what
Very
team?
cool.
Washington
The
Capitals.
Washington Capitals, left winger. Look
Fourth
out for
line.
him. Fourth line.
Fourth line. So you're going to have to look for him.
Number 79.
So let's go back to this Marlowe guy real quick. You know who he passes when he plays that 15th of the game?
Joe Thornton?
Nope.
Freho.
Mike Madonna.
Really?
He's tied with Mike Madonna right now.
Really? Well, he's going to pass him,
And
right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
you know where he ranks all time?
No, I don't.
He will move out of 18th place into he'll be 18th. Madonna will be 19th.
Wow.
They're tied right now at 18th. And the
For
next
all-time games
the
played.
next guy on the list, Stevie Y.
There you go. There you go.
You know who
Now-
the all-time games leader is? I'm showing my hockey knowledge right now because I got the internet.
Mr. Hockey, Gordon Howe.
Gordie Howe, how many games?
I would.
1,767,
Yeah,
baby.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Played until his 50s.
I was going to guess Freddie Foreskin.
Now, Marlowe was drafted he was drafted in 1997, second overall. Joe Thornton, who was his teammate for many years, was drafted number 1. So I mean, he was a star right from the get-go.
So we got this young gentleman here, 23 years old, Zach, in Grapevine here, just a great scholar. And I got to tell you, every week I love him. He comes up and he wants to talk fishing. So one of these times, when he catches a big-ass bass and takes a picture of it on his boat,
Yeah, picture it didn't happen.
and sends it in Justin Wu, then we'll let him come on and tell us about the story.
And then I'm going to play that classic song.
It's going to have to be for the All-Star break when there's no sports going
Right.
on. We're talking about fishing.
Yeah, we can talk about fishing. Well, fishing's a sport. I have a friend, Andrew Kaler. He's like a semi-pro or amateur fisherman. You know, he talks a big game, and he says there's a lot of money in the fishing.
Listen, I know a lot of sportsmen that drink beer after the event.
Yeah.
I don't think you can call someone a sportsman that drinks beer during the event.
Do they really drink beer when they go fishing?
Hey, interesting
Get out of
story.
here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fishermen are very dedicated. I got to tell you, Zach was telling me, he had this long-time girlfriend, and she was on him and on him and on. She said, Zach, you got to quit fishing. I got to spend more time with you. And Zach's like, I really like to fish. She said, yeah, but I really want to spend time with you. She goes, if you don't quit fishing, I'm going to leave you. He said, boy, I'm going to fish.
Well, I'm gonna miss her. Looky there, I gotta
home.
buy.
Zach, have a great night.
Have a good night, Zach.
Uh,
Later.
Okay.
We ran them off.
We ran him off.
So, I gotta get this off my chest.
JT, baby.
Okay.
Well, here's our last draw.
I
so-
gotta get this off my chest.
All right.
We've got to talk about this Ezekiel Elliott situation because
Great segue, because I want to talk about Chris Long as well.
it's unbelievable to me how this is happening. Because if this injunction or if these injunctions continue to creep up, has the NFL lost all of its power?
Yes.
Well, yes. Well, they certainly, but they had too much to begin with anyway. But that was agreed to by the players in the collective bargaining
I
agreement.
understand that.
But it was a bad deal.
But this is like, I mean, this is out of control, is it not? I mean, look.
You know what's out of control are those boobs that popped out of that girl's shirt when you pulled them down. Those were out of control.
Yes.
Well, okay, so yeah, so like, why is that behavior allowed to be permissible? Like, at a certain point, there has to be a line drawn in the sand that says, you know what, the dude did wrong.
I think Goodell's trying to make that point.
Which this will be the only time you probably ever see me side with Goodell. But all you're doing, whoever this federal judge is that continues to grant these injunctions, all you're doing is allowing that behavior to be okay.
There were four judges so far. One in Sherman, right? There was
Texas,
two in,
which tell me he didn't have.
and there was two in New Orleans, and then now there's one in New York, right? Who we're waiting on because they're on vacation or something like
She's
that.
on vacation.
She's on vacation, right?
So the guy
What?
who
I don't understand that.
It's like
Like-
a hot potato said, I want to mess with it. I'll let her go when she comes back.
Well, what I don't understand is,
But yet they
if the
granted
judge, right? And that's what I don't understand. Well, why can't they just place a judge in the interim? Like, does it have to be this lady?
Well, listen, here's the underlying message here. The NFL, okay, back to the point that they have too much control. They had a woman who did the entire investigation. She went through the whole process for the NFL, okay, on behalf of the NFL, and she came back with her report. She came back with a report that she didn't deem a suspension necessary. They did not even bring that to the table. So now what the courts are looking at going like, well, why did you have this woman run this report, and why didn't you include it in there? If there was nothing to hide, if you just wanted to bull rush and run over it. And I'm with you, Adam. I think this behavior is bad. But how do you mess that up?
How does that
for the NFL?
behavior not deem
First
some
of all,
type of action against? I mean, look, football play aside, look, Zeke is not having the same year that he had last year.
Of course not.
Okay.
He's got his whole mind wrapped up in the legal system.
But so take your medicine, take your suspension,
If you're
get
sick,
the
take your
6 games
medicine.
over with.
Yeah.
You could be almost, if he would have taken the suspension at the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
guess what? He'd have one more game to serve, and he'd be done. And then he could focus on football, and he could play. Now, look, I have no rooting interest in the Cowboys. I love when they lose.
We live in Dallas too, by the way,
But-
everybody out
but
there.
listen,
in
he's-
interwebs.
This is getting to the point where now we are entitling him to continue the behavior that he started.
Well, I
And
think,
it can only get worse from here.
and if you
because
get
he
to
feels
pass
like
on
he's
this,
untouchable.
if you get to pass, right? If the court system rules that yes, it was unfair and unjust, right? The way they suspended him, then I think it's going to negate basically everything else that he's done since then. The bar fight, the Mardi Gras thing with the ladies,
What
St.
bar
Patrick's
fight?
Day.
St. Patrick's Day thing.
Well, I
so-
think at the end of the day, those that are listening out there, we'd love to hear your opinion. If you got a question for us about this or an opinion, we'd love to hear it, and we'd love to share it next week. So please come online and throw something at us, because
I mean,
I'd really like to hear
The
your opinion.
reality is, this domestic abuse case that happened while he was in college in Ohio, the public, or at least I haven't seen evidence one way or the other, right? And I'm not sticking up for the guy. But his behavior after that, certainly, what happened on St. Patrick's Day, the bar fight, certainly doesn't show him in the best light, right?
No. Right.
So,
The dude's a clown. He played at Ohio State. The guy can't even put his shirt on properly.
Right.
I mean, but
His abs aren't even that in shape
Wow.
anymore. He's out of
Yeah,
shape
like,
now.
dude,
You see
You
that?
gotta throw that down, man.
Oh man, come on, Zeke.
But I mean,
Zeke the geek.
where are we with all this stuff that is going on in society,
Mhm.
right? Women are more empowered to speak out, which they should be.
They should.
Absolutely,
Right?
they have the
Absolutely,
right.
they
They
should.
fought
Absolutely.
over us,
But
over
yet
a
we're
century.
still protecting these guys.
Hey, maybe in their same unit as the Hollywood directors.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is that a Weinstein joke?
Yes.
it baffles me. It
Harvey.
really, truly baffles me that just because this guy, okay, can toe the rock on Sundays, and he's not even doing it that well this year. I mean, he's averaging
3.8.
3.7 actually is the latest number.
where
Okay.
where
He's averaging 78 yards a game.
where does that rank him as far as running back?
I have to check.
He was
But-
over a 5-yard game last year.
No, yeah. I mean, last year he was averaging 5.1 and 109 yards a game.
But to be
The-
fair to Cowboys, don't have the same offensive line. That
No,
did last
they
year.
don't. You're right. But here's the problem. Just because he can do this, and he's a superstar down here, and he's a superstar across the country, basically, we are saying, oh, well, they didn't go about the suspension the right way. We're going to just pick up the rug, dust it
Come
underneath,
on, Luke.
and say that everything's okay. That he doesn't deserve this, that he can go and play football, even though it's not even an allegedly situation. Some of his antics are alleged,
Right.
but most other things, like the St. Patrick's Day thing,
We saw.
We
is
saw
not
it.
alleged,
Yeah.
We saw. it.
right?
Yeah, we saw it,
That
and
was
he
not a
left.
So-
that was not a wardrobe malfunction.
No, it was not. No, it's
That
not the
was a-
Super
that was
Bowl,
a-
Zeke.
that was
You're
a-
far from the Super Bowl
That
right
was
now.
a peekaboo.
So where do we draw this line? Like, why do we allow this to happen?
Yeah, it's crazy. Listen, and the NFL has got some problems. I mean, they got the concussion issue. This thing with Brady last year, Zeke this year, these dragged out court cases.
We go from
It's just not that now we have the kneeling, not kneeling thing, right?
Oh yeah.
It's
Which is a whole nother
And
discussion.
then
we got-
we have
just-
Kaepernick.
we
you
go
know,
from
we know
the
about
leg
that.
gate to booby gate.
it's just not good for the league. Now they say, as compared to 2015, viewership is down 18%. That could be the way. All these things could play into that. It also could be that kids are consuming football in a different way than we are. The Nielsen ratings probably aren't as accurate
Right.
a reflection as they
A lot of
used to be
streaming
back in
going
the
on.
yeah.
Yeah, a ton
There's a
of
lot of
streaming.
streaming going on. So.
I mean, people are watching our show right now online and not on ESPN, right?
Large.
So
Zeke ranks 6th in rushing yards at 393 on the season. He ranks 7th at 78.6 average per game. And he ranks not even in the top 10 for yards per attempt. Where if you look at last year, he had to have been up at the top.
Yeah, 5 yards.
I mean,
103 games. Yeah, he's in the top. Well, it was him and Howard.
So he was number 1 in rushing attempts last year. He was 5th in average per touch at 5.1, and he was 1st in overall yardage last year. So definitely, he's taking a step back.
Oh yeah,
And a lot of that
we all
could
know
be
that.
because of everything that's going on.
Well,
But
I think
if
some
the
of
dude
it.
had
I don't
any-
think all of it.
If he had any mind to him at all, do what's best for your team. What's best for your team is for you to get the distractions out of the way.
Listen, even
And I told you guys from day one that he was going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, listen, I think that's because you're a Michigan fan. He went to Ohio State, but that's
nothing
different.
to do with
I
that.
think it has a little bit to do with it.
Maybe, but he's still.
But reality is even if he comes back after his suspension and the legal problems are behind him, he still has a shitty ass offensive line that cannot block for him. Everyone has a game plan on Dak. Des Bryant cannot catch the 50-50 ball like he used to or should be as a number 1 wide receiver. He's got there's no talent right now, and the defense is definitely not helping them. So we're running ragged.
So
even if
what
Zeke comes
that
back,
sounds like is the Cowboys just aren't that good.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
And that's music to
I'm
my
sorry,
ears.
Jerry.
I love it.
I'm
let's,
sorry.
Let's move on to something very pleasant in the NFL.
Okay.
That's a gentleman named Chris Long, Howie Long's son, that has decided to do
Howie!
something that's really phenomenal. He's taken his first 6 game checks of the year to date, and he's donated to an organization to help underprivileged children for education and awareness, which is phenomenal.
Support education and equality.
So he's the
Educational equality.
he decided to take the next 10 game checks, and he's created a new foundation called Pledge 10 for Tomorrow. And I think this is the start of something really great for the NFL. We've spoke about the kneeling, we spoke about the protests and all this other thing. The NFL's met with the players' union. They seem to have had a very amicable meeting. And now this kid's come up and he's done something, and he's challenging all these guys in the NFL, saying, hey, put your money where your mouth's at. Let's put this foundation together. And I think they want to take a step further. Chris Long, I applaud you. You want to turn to Goodell and say, hey, listen, I'm going to go talk to the players, and let's see which players are going to get behind this foundation and put money against it. And for every dollar we put in, will the NFL match it? I think that's a start in the right direction. Because now here you've got a guy, Chris Long, okay, who wasn't social and justified, right? Who's taken upon himself to be a part of it, right? To engage.
Right. So
now he's telling these guys, okay, you know what? Enough of the rest of the crap. Let's do something. I applaud you, Chris Long. I mean, you obviously were raised well, and the things you've done for Charlottesville, your hometown, have been phenomenal. And if somebody online or everybody wants to start a little donation and we can start putting towards Pledge 10 for tomorrow, I'd be more than happy to donate.
Yeah, he said, and I quote, educational opportunity and equity are the best gateway to a better tomorrow for everyone in America.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's looking towards the future, and I think
It
that's
all-
absolutely.
It all starts with education.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of I've had the privilege of working with some underprivileged children, and I can only tell you from my experience that it all starts at home, and that's what a lot of these folks don't have is what was being taught at home, and therefore now they're behind the curve, and so it's our job to educate them and help them and make them understand what they need to do the right thing, so that they can make a better life and better decisions. And I think this is a great first start, and I hope it just doesn't fizzle out. I hope that he's not the only guy that's donating. Gosh, could you imagine if let's just say the top 10 guys on every team that are making millions of dollars every year, if they all could take a year's game check and put it in this foundation, how much money they would accumulate? It'd be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are the
Can I tell you that
world.
my saddest moment is when Chris Long decided not to go to the Oakland Raiders to follow his daddy's footsteps. I had Howie's jersey when I was a kid. He was like my favorite Raider of all time.
Well,
So I got a funny story about Howie Long, which is really great.
I love it.
So it's a
Don't
great,
ruin it.
It's an old grapevine cigar story, actually.
Okay.
So Terry Bradshaw's a member here. So Terry Bradshaw comes in the winter and he finds some cigars and cutting it up with people. And then the gentleman who owns the cigar shop, Kenny's sister-in-law, named Darla. Darla absolutely was in love with Howie Long at the time. So every time he'd come in, he'd tell Terry, Terry, you've got to bring Howie in here. I want to meet Howie Long. And the funniest thing Terry said was, Darla, I keep telling you Howie's gay. She got this startled look on her face. Like, kidding me, right? And he just let out this big old grin, started laughing like, I gotcha. You know, and it was always a funny story. You know, every time we walk in, you get that smile on our face, and would be here. It's hilarious.
It's funny because like you talk about Terry, and there's like an autographed picture of him. Like it used to be on the ground. It looks like he's been promoted to the windowsill now.
Behind the water cooler.
Behind the water cooler and the portable AC unit that doesn't get turned on.
Cigar ad, is what it is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Well, I always find it odd that he's hit it.
It says feisty, spirited, irresistible.
Right.
Kind of sounds like Joe.
I've never seen him smoke punch cigars. He's an Aston guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I've seen him
I
smoke a lot.
think he ventures.
Yeah.
Like he gets set on one, he
Yeah,
smokes that for
you
a
know?
while.
Okay.
It's kind of like I'm not a Davidoff smoker, but if they told me
I thought you were looking for the economical cigar. Now
they don't make cheap Davidoffs.
No, they're all $40 a stick.
Well, crap. All right. Well, maybe next week I'll try one.
All right, let's move on.
All right. So, if you guys have any comments, please share. Go on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter on _sports. What else we got?
We're over there on all our social media. We also subscribe to our YouTube channel that we just
Yes,
put up.
right.
This video,
Please.
obviously, you're watching it through there. Obviously, the more subscribers we get, the better the better things will be. It gives us the opportunity to keep producing content. But the main thing is we want to hear from you. So
Absolutely.
if you have a comment or if you have questions, not that we're experts, but at least it could give us some good banter for the week ahead. Shoot us a post on Facebook. Shoot us something through Twitter at @smokin_sports on Instagram. Like the photos. Follow along.
Maybe we can like do a pot. You know, like
Yeah,
every comment person,
absolutely.
we'll put them in a pot, and then the winner
Absolutely.
gets a smoke from us, our pick.
Yeah.
That'd be
Sounds
kind of
good to
funny.
me.
So here's a cool thing I want to throw out to everybody. It's a little challenge that you all now, if there's first time you're probably seeing us, but as you get to know us and you learn our personalities, we would love to challenge you to come on with your questions and if you see one or two or three or four of us that you want to pick a little feisty banter with, we'd like to be like, you know, like Joe and I would like to be like Shaq and Charles, you know, and we obviously got Kenny over there, you know, and we got our mainstay right here. So let's have some fun with it. We really want to hook this up.
Okay.
Let's have some fun with it, and
Cool.
you know, we encourage you to do that. We're always going to leave with something fun. Are we going to roll into the joke?
No, I think we got. We're running out of time at this
No, we're
point.
not running out of time.
You got a joke? Okay, on the outro, we got an outro. One
Okay.
joke for the
Feel free
road.
to criticize us.
Yes.
So I go in this bar, right?
Here we go.
And this guy's got this freaking pet monkey on his shoulder. I go and I order a tall draft. It's a nice hot day, and I'm drinking this cold draft down. The Detroit the playing on the tube.
Are you serious?
Yes, and I'm watching the game, and Stafford throws his bomb. They score a touchdown. The freaking monkey jumps off the guy's shoulder, goes backflips down to one end of the bar, backflips all the way down in the bar. The guy smiles. He walks over and gets him a shot of the Jägermeister. The monkey takes the Jägermeister and slams it back, and I'm like blown away. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So I asked, I said, what's the deal with this guy? He said, oh man, he goes, every time the Lions score, he does this and goes back and forth. I give him a shot of Jaeger. I'm like, wow, he must be drunk at the end of the day. He's like, sometime. I said, what do you do if they win? He goes, I don't know. I've only owned him for 12 years. Boom, boom, boom.
Nice.
You're so funny. Let's pick on the one Detroit guy.
Well, take it away, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by. This has been
Yes.
Smokin' Sports. Did you have one last thing you wanted to add?
I didn't actually.
All right. For DJ, Justin, Joe, and myself, we appreciate you stopping by.
And I got one thing to say. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
So much for that whole way of spoken.
Yeah.
I know. That's
was
what I was
smoking.
hoping for.
Yeah.
I've been telling the kids